Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. It is the Valley Business Today Wednesday, Front Royal Warren County edition. So Niki Kales is on the Zoom screen with me. We are pre-recording our conversation as usual. Although, Niki, I think at some point you and I will get back to live shows. We might have been back to live shows already if I hadn't brought these puppies into the house.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to live shows. Those are always a highlight of my month. So hopefully, yeah, we can get that done pretty soon.
And if I can get these dogs trained, maybe I'll just bring them with me and they can be part of the show, which they may be today. Because I mentioned that only to let everybody do the disclaimer. So if you hear them in the background, it's because apparently 3 o'clock is let's rip and roar and make a lot of noise time in the Michael household.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
But that's going to work in our favor because your guest today is all about the fun. Tell me who you've got with us on the Zoom screen.
So today we have Michael Locke. Mike, and I'm going to go back between Michael and Mike. I don't know why, but I call him each thing. So he's assured me that he will go by both, but Mike is fine. So, Mike opened an awesome store right up my alley, and I'm sure a lot of people, when you hear about it, in the Royal Plaza Shopping Center called Play Favorites. It's just such a cool little place to be.
It's a sneaky toy store is what I understand. Mike was giving me kind of the rundown before we started recording, and there's a lot of toys that you carry, Mike, that will teach kids and adults things, but you're not really letting them know that in advance. You sneak that education in on the back end. Is that right?
I don't like to call it an educational toy store because that gives kids and even parents the idea that this is a place where we go for toys that are strictly and explicitly about learning, toys that just tell you 1 + 1 is 2 and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The idea here is that these are toys which are primarily just about having a good time. You know, they're construction toys, they're science kits, arts and crafts, board games, pretend play, really just about every category, juggling, but everything in the store, and I mean almost everything, is the kind of thing that just by playing with a toy, there's some sort of mental cognitive development going on. But first and foremost, everything in the store has to be fun. I'm not going to carry something just because it has educational value. It's also got to have play value and fun value. It has to be something that a kid wants to pick up and like he's excited to open up that wrapping paper and be like, holy smokes, this looks like the coolest toy ever. And surreptitiously, he's actually going to learn something while he's playing with the toy.
It's funny, I have a regular guest that comes on the show from the Clark County Historical Association over in Berryville, and they do a Living History Day a couple of times a year at their old mill over there, and everybody dresses up in period clothing, and the mill still grinds corn, and they have a kids' colonial day, and the kids come out and they learn so much stuff about history and how things worked back in the day, and they have no idea that they are being taught something because they're just having fun and seeing all these people walking around in costumes and a blacksmith making stuff. This is kind of the same thing, but with actual toys.
Yeah, exactly. I like the way you put that. Like the kids are just excited that they get to dress up and go on a field trip and watch cool things happen and being done. And that is, you know, it's really it's education through entertainment. And I think that you have to make that entry with making entertainment like first and foremost, and and then the education will just happen if the material is there.
That's kind of my slogan for the Valley today, was to entertain, educate, and inform. And on any given show, I hope I hit one out of the three.
Yeah, and I think that if you enter with, and if you begin with entertainment, and then like I said, the content is there to back up the entertainment, to educate and inform, it's just going to happen much more naturally, and people will be much more open to that education and information.
So
because it's fun. When you enjoy doing something, you're more likely to continue to do it.
Where is your store located?
It's in Royal Plaza, with right in between Martin's and Rural King.
And I understand your plan had been to open pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, so a couple of things had to get shuffled around. When did you open?
We opened about 9 weeks ago, so this would have been early September. We opened. Does that make sense? Yeah. It was, I believe, early to mid September. We opened our store. I actually moved to Front Royal from New Jersey in February, and the plan was to open in the first week of June was our projected date. Obviously, that did not happen for obvious reasons.
Oh, I don't know. I think having a toy store, having access to a toy store in the middle of a pandemic seems like the perfect getaway for adults, not to mention kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Our problem would have just been the word of mouth of everything. I don't think it would have been sustainable. I mean, as it is, I'm still seeing. I just don't think that the foot traffic just yet is back to where it would be had the pandemic not happened, had it not, if we weren't in the middle of it at the moment.
Niki and I were having a conversation pre-show about businesses having to pivot and change what they've always done to accommodate themselves in the age of COVID, and then some who have just completely turned everything around from what they thought they were going to be doing. You're kind of one of those people, because you really had to figure out, if you're not going to be a traditional retail store, you do curbside pickup, you do a lot of things because of COVID that you might not have thought you were going to do when you were thinking about opening.
Yeah, certainly. Curbside, we haven't had the opportunity for that yet, but it's something that, I'm really happy to do. And I am so open to accommodating anybody's comfort level in the current situation, to the extent where if somebody wants to do Christmas shopping, but, they just want to be cautious, and I'm happy, we're offering, I'm calling it, COVID cautious or COVID careful Christmas shopping, where, give me a call, send me an email, and if you want to have a private 20-minute shopping session in the store, where I will, we'll schedule a time, I'll lock the doors, just you, or just you and your small group that you're comfortable with, and you get the store for 20 minutes, I'll show you around, you can do your own shopping, and I'm very cool with that. I just want people to be able to shop in however they feel comfortable.
Are you finding that you're having as many parents that enjoy coming through the store and looking at the stuff that you have as you do the kids? Because I know Niki has already made her purchase and got some
yes.
for her.
Absolutely. I think that we strike a very good balance of having classic toys that get parents excited, like, oh, I used to have that, a skipper or a pogo ball, and the kind of, or like a pretty princess board game, the kind of thing that parents and, older folks will remember having, as the toys of their childhood, while at the same time that, most of the store, I would say it's toys that you might never have known existed. Nothing crazy, but just stuff that's, you're not going to find it on the shelves of a Target or anything like that. And kind of similarly, the the reception so far has just been so encouraging. I think everyone who's come into the store has just been very enthusiastic and supportive about what we're doing. And that's been really, really great.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Niki, will you tell me about your first purchase? Because I know how much fun you're having excavating your dinosaur.
I will. I'm happy to talk about my dinosaur anytime.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation for the Valley business today. We are on the Zoom screen with Niki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce and her guest, Mike Locke. He is the owner of Play Favorites. It is a toy store located in Royal Plaza in Front Royal. When we come back, we're going to talk about Niki's toy purchase, and then I'm going to have Mike give us a rundown on some of the interesting toys that parents can expect to find for their kids or for themselves when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit @NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley business today. As you are listening to the show, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation over the Zoom screen. It is Front Royal's turn at the mic. So Niki Kales is on the screen with me from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Her guest today is Mike Locke. He recently opened Play Favorites over in Royal Plaza, just off of South Street in Front Royal. And we were talking in the first segment, Mike, about your all of the different selection of toys, and that it's not a traditional toy store, and that it's not going to look like the aisles at Target, which I think is amazing as a parent who wanted toys that were different, unique, and we're going to sneak a little education in on the backside while these kids are working on stuff. But it's not just for kids, because I know Niki has already bought herself a dinosaur excavation kit. Tell me about that, Niki.
So, you know me, Janet, I have a ridiculous fascination with dinosaurs. I have had my entire life. And, sometimes I'm a little bit like a 12-year-old boy. However, I went in to Mike's store the day before I left for vacation a few weeks ago. And I went into the store, to say hello, saw that Mike was open, wanted to visit. And I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I walked in the door, and I mean, this store is captivating the second that you walk in. And there are so many things to look at and see and do and play with, and it's very hands-on. And he had some little dinosaurs at the counter, and I immediately was drawn to those. And then he's like, well, let me walk you around the store and show you some of the other dinosaur products that we have. We got to the back of the store, and he shows me this large box that has a slab of rock in there, where you actually excavate your own dinosaur bones, and then you build your dinosaur fossil. And that was right up my alley. I have that at home, and I work on it. My initially I was taking it to the beach with me to do while I was at the beach. And, there were a lot of kids that went with us, and I'm going to be really transparent here and tell you that I wanted to dig my dinosaur out myself. And
you didn't want to share.
I didn't. So I waited and brought the dinosaur home with me. And so now I work on him, a couple of hours every night. It's stress relief, and it's super exciting. So there's something in that store for everybody.
So, Mike, let me ask you, because Niki mentioned she came in and she mentioned to you that she has this fascination with dinosaurs. I would imagine that's what you want, is for customers to come in and say, I don't really know what I'm looking for, but here's what I love, or here's what I'm interested in, and then you can point them in the right direction.
Yes, I'm actually really, really happy that you brought that up, because I was thinking how I was going to slip that in. But this is something that I'm really proud of, where I've been in like toy retail for a very long time. I think ever since I was 17 years old, I got my first job at a toy store in Lakewood, New Jersey, where I'm from. And I started just moving boxes around, but I was already like, I was into toys. And over the years have helped so many people with toys, to the point where now, like, you can come into the shop and you need a gift for this kid, but there are so many idiosyncrasies that this child might have, and you're like, what am I ever going to get for him or her that's the perfect gift? And I'm really proud of the fact that the way I've stocked the store, and just with just my background in toys, I'm so confident that I'll be able to help you find the perfect gift for pretty much anyone, 2-year-old, 15-year-old, anywhere in between, any interest. We have something for everyone, but more than that, like, we can help you find that thing for that anyone.
And am I correct in understanding that there's even like a testing area in the store if some of the kids want to check something out, or a parent wants to check something out?
Yes. So my philosophy about a toy store is that a toy store should be an exciting place for kids to go, whether it's their birthday, or whether they've earned a gift, or whether they're just going for a visit because maybe it's their sibling's birthday. Like, when a kid goes to a toy store, they should be excited, whether they know that they're coming home with something, or whether they know that there's no way that they're coming home with something. So we've set up this store where, I advertise it as a place to shop and play. So yeah, everything that we have to play with, you can also purchase, but there are stations set up throughout the store where we have a rotating selection of dozens of different toys, everything from building toys to brain teasers to more active toys, just tons of stuff. Where a big train table where kids can come in, and we want you to come in and actually play with the toys. It's not like a hands-off, please don't touch kind of store. Sometimes parents tell their kids, oh, don't touch that. And I have to kind of slip in and be like, no, really, it's okay if they make a mess in this store. It's just fine. It's set up that way for kids to feel comfortable to come in and play. And I love it when they do, because when a kid just runs into the store and is just hands on everything, and they're comfortable doing that, it means that I've set this up the right way where they're comfortable doing that.
Well, and it's a good idea too, because, a lot of times as parents, and granted, I'm 26 years removed from having to go to a toy store, but a lot of times I would get these toys for my son that I thought were cool, and then I'd bring them home and he'd play with the box. So if you're letting kids come in and actually find something that they are taking an interest in, then that parent has a little bit more sense of security that if they buy this toy and bring it home, the kid's actually going to play with it and get some good times out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes even we have a lot of board games and brain teasers that are just set up for display. And, we'll all sit down for a few minutes and I'll show them how to play the game. And then, once I've showed them the way it works, they'll sit there for another 10, 15 minutes just puzzling out that brain teaser or playing a few rounds of the game. They know hey, there's no risk here. I'm going to take this home. And I know that my family is going to like it because we already tried it in the store.
Now, you were telling me before we started recording for the show that you've got something else up your sleeve that's coming soon, a party/game room. What's going to be the deal with that?
Yes. So I want to preface this by saying that we are going, for the time being, because of the pandemic, we're going to be doing everything with the utmost caution and in the most, COVID careful, COVID conscious way. But we are hopefully by mid-November going to be opening up the back area of the store. It's about 500 square feet. And I'm basically going to be calling this, until I come up with a better name, the Ultimate Playroom. And the idea here is that we're going to have tables set up with a huge library of board games available for people to just take off the shelves and play. And of course, we're always going to be there if you want someone to show you the rules. Someone at the store will go back there and explain the game to you. We're also going to have, just loads and loads of toys back there for kids to play with. You might have a building toy at home, and the kit that you got comes with 100 pieces, and that's great, but you often wonder, like, man, I wonder what I could do if I had 2,000 pieces of this toy. So we're going to have that toy, and we'll have those 2,000 pieces for you to play with, or you can play with your friends and not worry about running out of pieces if you're sharing. So we'll have all that out there, a whole lot of different unique PlayStations, and I don't mean like a Sony PlayStation, I mean a PlayStation setup. And then in addition to that, we're going to have, it might seem counterintuitive to the rest of the store, but we'll have a few arcade games back there for kids who just want to play in that capacity as well. Basically something for everyone. Just a great party room, playroom, whatever if you're renting out this back room for a birthday party, you can just tell me this is the kind of stuff that we want to have at this party, and we'll set it up for you. And your kids will have a great time playing there for a couple of hours.
I think that is a fantastic idea, because you're right. I mean, we all need an outlet these days, and what better outlet to have than a toy store?
Mm-hmm. And I think Front Royal just needs more stuff to do, like just good, wholesome entertainment, I guess you can say, or any entertainment. So I'm trying to fill that void as well.
Well, we have to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, but before we do, Mike, can you give me a couple of ideas or suggestions, or tell me about some of the toys that you have in the store so people listening have a really good idea of what they can expect to find when they walk in the door?
Sure. So probably my favorite toy in the store, the one that when I was ordering out of the catalog, I just made sure to order one for myself, is called a Mega Cyborg Hand. This is a kit. It comes with about 203 pieces. And you assemble this, well, it looks like a cyborg hand, and you slide, after you've constructed this, you slide your own hand into this cyborg hand, and it's controlled with through pneumatics and hydraulics, and every finger is individually controlled with your own fingers, and you can actually use a dial on the hand to adjust the spread of the fingers, and you can use this to pick up objects, play catch. So it's a model, and it's also a really cool toy that you can play with afterward, and it's hard to explain without the visual, but man, this toy is so cool. Other than that, this is a little old-fashioned, but I'm really proud of our selection of jigsaw puzzles. Everything from large floor puzzles for kids to the 2,000-piece puzzles for adults. I'm a bit of a jigsaw puzzle fiend, and I think that I'm really proud of that selection. And another thing that I think that we just do really well with is board games. All ages, literally from 18 months to adults. We have just a great selection of board games, the kind of games that you won't find anywhere else. One of my favorites, which is becoming a bit of a modern classic, is called Ticket to Ride. I love this game because you can play it with, a 6-year-old can play with older people, but it's a great game for just adults to sit down and play together. And it really encapsulates what I said earlier about education through entertainment. No one is playing this game primarily for its entertainment value, but anyone who plays this game just a few times will learn the geography of the United States or Europe or whichever version that you get cold. The idea is that you're building trains and trying to complete routes going across different areas of the world. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful family game. And we have, in addition to this, dozens of others. And if you don't like learning rules, it doesn't, don't worry about it. I can show you how to play the game in the store before you go home with it.
That sounds like the game I need. My husband swears I get lost in a phone booth with the door closed. So any game that could teach me geography, he would probably be 100% all in. So before we wrap up, tell me again, Mike, where are you located and what are your hours?
Sure. We're on right off of South Street in Royal Plaza, same plaza as Martin's and Rural King. And we are open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7 and Sunday from 12 to 5. And if anyone, again, wants to do like COVID careful shopping, if you're not comfortable yet going out and about, and, the public shopping experience, you can just be in touch, call us, email us. It's mike@weplayfaves.com, and I'm happy to arrange a time for you to come for a private shopping experience.
Can people find you on Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page as well?
Yes, Facebook and Instagram are @WePlayFaves.
Fantastic. So, Niki, I know you're already a diehard customer because I also saw on Facebook where you sent something to Lavenda at Winchester SPCA. And I guess after we make the adoption final on these puppies, I'm going to have to send something to Lavenda at SPCA. So you'll have to go over to the toy store with me and help me find something for her.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely. There's tons of things in there that I can think of. Lavenda and I share, we share a bond over dinosaurs, and it's really hard to find people, in my age range that are female who love dinosaurs like I do, and Lavenda does. So I couldn't resist that thing that I sent to Lavenda. But yeah, there are tons of things in Mike's store that Lavenda would love.
Well, we ran out of time, Niki, before we had a chance to get into all of the how much money are you giving away this week from the town and the county. But there is a small possibility that you will be back on Monday. So we'll save all of that for a Monday conversation, depending on how my guests take out the rest of this week. So we are going to wrap up our conversation for the Valley Business. Today we have been chatting with Niki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce and her guest, Mike Locke. He is the owner of Play Favorites at Royal Plaza. I will put links to everything, Mike's website. I will put links to his Facebook page, his Instagram. All of that will be on the show notes page. And I'll even go by there at some point, Mike, in the next couple of weeks, and I'll make a wish list so that all of the people that love me and want to buy me something for Christmas can come to your store and they'll know what to get me. Is that okay?
That would be wonderful.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you just a few minutes after noon. Meet me here then.